So let's have a little chat, shall we? Let's have a little occult chat. This is your host, The Occult View. I know y'all been waiting for me to come on and speak about this. I have just been sitting back, just watching how things are unfolding and maneuvering and how more and more things are coming out. And y'all know what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the allegations that have been, and I'm going to say they're allegations to protect myself. Um, the allegations that have surfaced um, in the recent raid of Puff Daddy's homes, the one in the mansion in L.A. and the other mansion in Miami. Now, I made a video about this a couple of days ago, but I did not post it because I didn't like how it came out. Because I felt like it was too premature. But it's still hot news right now. And I'm not doing this for views or anything like that. I'm doing this because I have something to say. I have something to say. And when I see a continuous pattern of behaviors that have gone unchecked for a long time, and now I see more and more people are being named in this frequency with Puff Daddy. Puff Daddy has been a problem for many, many years. He's been a problem for many, many years. Number one, he's more of a producer versus being a musician, if I'm not mistaken. Because I don't really know of any great albums he's ever done. Well, I wouldn't know because I've never been a fan of his. I've never liked him. He came on the scene back in I guess, the 90s. He probably was on the scene a little bit earlier than that, but I noticed him in the late 90s when I was a teenager. And once he came on the scene, that's when Tupac was killed, that's when Biggie was killed, and so on and so on and so on. And when you really think about Tupac and why he was taken out, you have to go back to the lyrics of his music and think of the things that he talked about in his music. No, Tupac may not have been perfect. He may not have been perfect. But one thing he always did, whether people liked him or loved him, one thing he always did was recognize respecting black women, having respect for your mother, and you never heard Tupac being caught up in any of these, um, you know, uh, ritualistic, and I said ritualistic, not gay people, but ritualistic homosexuality. You never heard him getting wrapped up into stuff like that. You never heard him connected to Epstein and kids. You never heard any of that about Tupac because he had a certain divine morality about himself no matter what type of errors he may have made in his life at some point. He had a certain foundation and a certain standard about himself. And black people like P. Diddy don't like people like that. That is why when they tried to degrade Tupac's image and they said that when he went to jail, he got beat up or he got SA'd or whatever the case may be. I don't know if that's true or not. But if it did happen, it was by design. And I'm sure P. Diddy had his hand in it in some type of way. So we have to look at the culture that has been created. See, when Tupac made music, his music made you think. It took you to another dimension. Like the song Brenda Had a Baby, Dear Mama. Those songs made you think. And it just took you to another place, you know? And people like that are really like an endangered human being. I'm not going to say species, but an endangered human being, because you have predators like Sean Puffy Combs and others who don't like people like that. It's not even about the person making more money. It's not even about that. It's more so about the person having a certain amount of enlightenment and consciousness. Puff Daddy don't have no enlightenment and no consciousness. He never has. So it doesn't surprise me about the allegations that are coming out about him. They didn't have to raid his home for me to know what he is. And the games that the media plays. Now, I know I'm not crazy. Let me say this on a side note. I know I'm not crazy. Last year, before I get into what I really wanted to talk to about this particular situation, last year, nobody else seems to remember, but I do. There were reports that his house and mansions were raided last year, but they hurried up and removed those reports and said they were hoaxes. This was last year, but nobody seems to be able to remember but me. So are we in the Mandela effect or some shit? I don't know. But the fact of the matter is that I remember that there were multiple reports last year that P. Diddy had gotten raided by the feds last year. But then they said it was a conspiracy theory and it was a hoax. And then lo and behold, a couple of days ago, it actually happened. So what did they do? Did they do a ritual to put that out into the universe first? To manifest it? I don't know. But what I do know and feel in my spirit is that he deserved everything he got. And I know some people are saying that he's just the front man or whatever the case may be. Well, if he is the front man and he's not the main man, he certainly knows what he knows, and he knows who the main people are. So I don't have any sympathy for no P. Diddy. I don't care if he's black or not. He's a bad guy. He's a bad fucking guy. And then you got Luke, the rapper. He's coming out basically trying to defend him, saying, oh, it's a setup, that he's not the only one. Well, we already know he's not the only one. We know that. It's just so unbelievable how people are so obsessed with celebrities. And when something happens to one of them, when something happens to one of them that they like, they can't accept that these people can be horrible people, just like people that are average people can be horrible people. It's not just celebrities. I saw a video where now they are alleging that Prince Harry is connected to the sex trafficking with P. Diddy. And Kanye West was in the picture with them, with Prince Harry and P. Diddy. Now, they have not said Kanye's name. Kanye's name has not been mentioned. Cuba Gooding Jr.'s name has been mentioned again in this situation as well. So no, we all know that P. Diddy is not the only one. We know that. But why is it that when these things happen, people are so obsessed with celebrities that they can't look at them as people and say, you know what? They have issues like everybody else. But the problem with them is that they have money, they have power and influence over people, over weak people, and they can manipulate the weak people's minds. And there are a lot of weak people on this planet. I'm not one of them, by the way. So, this video that was detailing Prince Harry being connected to this sex trafficking these sex trafficking allegations, I was reading the comments and somebody said, "Thank God I'm not a celebrity." And someone responded to the comment saying, "Well, you sin too, just on a smaller scale." And I'm thinking to myself, what does that have to do with Puff Daddy and the allegations that are being made against him? Do you see how people are so celebrity obsessed? You see how they are so celebrity obsessed, and then they want to make this about, Christianity and sin, which is nonsense. And the irony of all of this is that they showed the actual raid taking place inside of Puff Daddy's house, or the aftermath of it, and he had a Bible sitting on his table. So while everyone is around here talking about, oh, he's satanic, he's this, he's that, no, Satan don't have nothing to do with this. That's your Christian God. That's who he follows. That's who he follows. He's following the tenements of the Christian teachings. But you all want to blame everything on Satan. When they went into that house, they found a Bible laying on one of those tables. That's your Christianity right there. And then you have all of these black people coming out of the woodwork trying to defend him, when we all know he's potentially connected to the Jeff Epstein stuff. We all know he's probably connected to Nickelodeon. And suffices to say, the Nickelodeon icon looks very similar to the Epstein Island. And I have not even looked at the Nickelodeon documentary that they did. See, I'm a child of the 80s, and my great grandparents raised me. So my great grandparents didn't have cable like that. They didn't have cable. And I didn't look at Nickelodeon as no child. I looked at the Smurfs, because I'm old. So I looked at the Smurfs. I looked at Mighty Mouse. Um, what else did I look at? I looked at Jim, that show Jim. I mean, I looked at things like that. When I was coming up, there was no Nickelodeon. At least I didn't have no access to it. So I'm a different type of person. And one thing I will say about my family, even though as dysfunctional as they are, when the court system tried to take me away from my family and put me in a therapeutic foster home, a lot of these foster homes, they are gateways into sex trafficking. When the courts tried to put me into a foster home, as mean as my family was to me as a child, at least they stopped them from doing that. They said, "Oh no." My aunt said, "I'll take him. His mother can't take him, is not capable of taking care of him right now. We'll keep him in the family." That I will give them that much. From the foster care system, even to CPS, they all have a part in all of this sex trafficking shit, if you ask me. The same institutions that so many people put on high levels, or have high standards for, are connected to a lot of this shit that they're accusing P. Diddy of. So I don't mean no disrespect to Luke, but this ain't no setup. This ain't no setup. This is spiritual. And black people can walk around here trying to defend him because he's black. But what has he done for your black ass lately? Answer that. This is the same man that walks up on random black people, harassing them like he did that Power actor, dressed up as the Joker, talking about, "I'm love, I'm love, I'm love." Change your vibration. Change your vibration. He sounds like a cokehead off of the plantation. He sounds like a cokehead off of a slave plantation. Change your vibration. Change your vibration. He doesn't even know what that represents. Changing your vibration. He gonna end up like Stephen Collins, the father, the actor who played the father on Seventh Heaven, the one who was disgraced after it was discovered that he too was involved in violating underage girls when he was a full-fledged grown man. Now he's remarried and he moved to Idaho somewhere. He's into transcendental meditation now. Yeah, I guess he had to get into spirituality now. He's still a creep, if you ask me. So, no, this was no setup. This was designed to happen because of the things this man has done. And then he has his sons all hooked up into this bullshit as well. Your sons are handcuffed while you knew what was coming. But he let his sons stay in those homes and get apprehended by the police in his place. That should tell you niggas everything you need to know about this man. And then you're going to have some bitch in the comment talking to somebody, talking about, well, you sin too, but just on a smaller scale. You know what that tells me about that woman? That she is for sex trafficking and for the exploitation of underage children. Because the allegations are that he tried to cross state. There are many allegations involving him and this current situation as to why they raided his homes. Because they said they were investigating a sex trafficking ring or something like that. But they said specifically early on that he was crossing state lines with an underage girl. I believe it was a girl because you know he does them both. You know how he gets down. That's why he was telling that man when he was dressed up as the Joker a couple of years ago at Halloween, on Halloween. That is why he was telling that man, come to one of my parties and change your vibration. Why? So you could SA him? Is that what you mean when you say change your vibration? So you could violate him? Because we all know he has a history of violating men too, and young boys, allegedly. We all know this. This is the same man that called himself Brother Love a couple of years ago. He kept saying that he was love. If that's love, I don't want nothing to do with it. And like Tina Turner said, what's love got to do with it, bitch? What's love got to do with it? He's love. He's love. Of course Prince Harry is involved in this some type of way. Of course he is. And where is TD Jakes now? I wonder, can he swallow? Can he swallow? Can he swallow that he may be next? Since he likes to swallow so much. Yeah, I said it. I remember somebody said that TD Jakes was going around threatening vloggers if they mention him in a video. Well, threaten me, motherfucker. I got something for you. Threaten me. Your life will never be the same. Trust me. Y'all don't know me like that. That's my favorite line. You don't know me like that. And you don't know the dark things that I'm into because we all got our dark side. You don't know me like that, and you don't know the level of darkness that my mind is willing to go to protect me and the ones that I love. And I don't have to lay a motherfucking finger on you. I'm one of them ancient old dark ones that Bobby Hemmett and Brother Panic used to talk about returned. No ego, just truth. No bullying, just defense. Because they have minions who like to defend them. Same thing with Nature Boy. Same thing with Nature Boy. Now I can understand why his wives would defend him. I can understand why people in that cult would defend him because they were up under that whatever he was doing. I get it. But it's so interesting, and I know people are probably not paying attention. Nature Boy gets sentenced, then and he's a Taurus. Puff Daddy's a Scorpio. Here's where the occultism comes in. Puff Daddy is a Scorpio. Taurus is the shadow side of Scorpio and vice versa. Nature Boy gets sentenced, then Puff Daddy gets raided. And now he's on the run. Very interesting. They both got what they deserved, in my opinion. And I know some people disagree with that, and I don't give a fuck about that. But they both got what they deserved, in my opinion. So to the dumb bitch who said, you sin too, to that commenter, this is not about sin. Since you want to make it biblical, this is about an abomination. This is not about sin. This is about an abomination. And those two motherfuckers, Nature Boy, Puff Daddy, and the likes of all of those are abominations. That is not a sin. Those are abominations. And I don't give a fuck who don't like what I'm saying. And I know what y'all gonna say, but you a gay man, you an abomination too. Well, if I am, I'm not harming anybody but myself. These people were harming other people. They were harming other people. And the argument is constantly made, well, the people that were in those cults or that followed them or whatever, they were adults. Yeah, I get that they were adults. I get that. But it doesn't change the fact that what they did and what he did was fucking wrong. So let me just give you an example or this analogy. So are you telling me that if a person, man or woman, is minding their business, not bothering anybody, and somebody comes up and unalives them and takes them out, away from their family, away from their life, whatever, we're not supposed to have compassion for them? We're not supposed to say, oh, that's messed up because they're an adult? It doesn't mean that I want to be friends with those people. It doesn't mean I agree with their decisions. But the fact of the matter is, these are bad men. Now, the argument has been made that Nature Boy wasn't all bad, but I don't care. He did some horrible things. I don't know if it was on the same level as a P. Diddy, but he did some fucked up shit. And that's why he's in the predicament that he's in now. And P. Diddy's getting ready to be in it too. Cuba Gooding Jr. So it doesn't surprise me that Prince Harry's name was brought up in this. So is this why? So this really, let's go back. And see, this is why my spirit was never really feeling Meghan Markle or Prince Harry. My spirit just wasn't feeling them. They wanted to play the victimization role like they were being victimized by racism over in the UK and all of these other things. You know what I'm saying? But what were they really involved in? What were they really involved in? This is why I never really had a lot of compassion and sympathy for what they were going through over there in the UK. Then they come over to the US and the black community welcomes them with open arms. Don't ask no questions. Don't ask any questions. You don't have no standards. No standards for anything that you accept. You just accepted them. Tyler Perry gave them a house. And we all know about Tyler Perry. And that's all I'm going to say about that. He gave them a house. So no wonder they were being well protected by the American media. And anybody that spoke out against them, they would get rid of them. That's why they got rid of Sharon Osbourne on The Talk, which is some bullshit now, if you ask me. That's why they got rid of her and they used Cheryl Underwood, the coon, to do it. Because Sharon Osbourne, she probably knows more than what she was saying. That's why a lot of people were not feeling Harry and Meghan like that. Now it's beginning to make sense. It's beginning to make a lot of sense. See, when you sit back long enough, spirit will guide you and let you see things. This is why I never really was a supporter of Harry and Meghan. I wasn't. I was not. Because there was something in the back of my mind saying something is not right with him. Not really her per se, but there was something not right with him. He's a Virgo. He's a Virgo, a September Virgo at that. I'm an August Virgo. He's a September Virgo. Difference in the frequencies and vibrations. Totally different. September Virgos can get into some very perverse things, especially when it starts going into the Libra energy at the end of September. And I'm being layman when I talk about that, but y'all know what I'm saying. See, I'm more on the cusp with Leo. So I'm a little bit more reserved. But those September Virgos, they get down. I'm talking about the men. So I understand why now people were looking at Harry kind of funny. And there's an allegation that even William is caught up in a lot of this shit too. So I understand that it's not just Puff Daddy. I understand that. But right now, he's the star of the week. And this has been a long time coming. He has done so many unjust things to so many people who are no longer here in the flesh to speak physically about it. So those of us who are connected to spirit, we are those mouthpieces for the dead, like for Tupac, like for Biggie. And I know they said that Biggie had his own controversies too, that he plagiarized somebody that was in jail, and the real Biggie Smalls was some dude that was in jail, and Biggie Smalls stole his whole persona. I get it. I understand that. But we're talking about the star of the week, which is Puff Daddy, and all of his crimes that he has committed in this industry, all of the blood that he has spilled allegedly in this industry, all of the harm that he has caused in this industry. That's why he paid Cassie off so quick with $100 million. I knew when that happened, I knew then. I said, it's going to be some more shit that's going to come out. It's going to be some more shit that comes out. But you have people, especially a lot of black people online, trying to defend him. If I were Luke, I would keep my mouth shut. If I were Luke, I would keep my mouth shut. Because Luke used to make those videos back in the day that were very explicit, that were very exploitive of women, whether they participated in it willingly or not. It's just how it's looked at. No, Luke is probably worried that he don't want to be caught up in nothing. That's why he's saying something. You don't hear what's his name? Master P. You don't hear his name up in nothing. You don't hear him up in no shit like that. And as bad as he was, and as horrible as he was, you don't hear Suge Knight. Suge Knight was a rough ass dude. He may have unalived some people, But you don't never hear no allegations of Suge Knight messing with no kids or nothing like that. You don't hear him connected to no Epstein Island. We ain't heard that yet. So, and truth be told, if any of Suge Knight's people are listening, I'm gonna tell you something. Did P. Diddy set him up? Huh. Did he set him up? Because it's interesting how a lot of people around him end up getting unalived or either imprisoned. Kim Porter was supposed to be writing a book, I heard. Then she died. And then we all know what they said he actually did to her. They're even saying that he's connected to what's going on with Al B. Shore. According to Jaguar Wright, she said that when the doctors opened up Al B. Shore, it looked like a bomb had exploded inside of him. And the only reason I'm talking about this is because people like him are a danger to the culture and to society. They are a danger because they appeal to weak-minded people like that bitch in that comment talking about telling the other person, well, you sin too. Bitch, this ain't about no motherfucking fake ass sin. This is about exploitation. So I guess in her mind, she thinks that what happened to Relisha Rudd, the 8-year-old girl who disappeared 10 years ago here in DC, I guess because of sin, some 51-year-old man so did whatever he did to her. So you feel the same way about that too? What type of entities are these people? Just like there was a young man, I'm subscribed, I subbed to him recently, who was telling a story. Young white boy, handsome young man, athletic, seems to have himself together. And he was telling a story of how even even in the YouTube world, he was telling a story of something that actually happened to him. I mentioned it to somebody else, and they told me they think that it was cap, but I don't think that it was actually cap. But he said how, in order to become really famous on YouTube, you have to go through some of the same ritualistic stuff that Hollywood people and music people have to go through in the music industry. He went to a party, him and a friend of his, the friend stayed. He went through all of the different stages and things they had to go through in this party. Well, first off, he was approached. He was approached. They were watching him anyway. But he said that when he rejected what they wanted him to do, which was some horrible things at that party, when he rejected it, they began to stalk him. They began to stalk him. And he said they were coming into his apartment and doing things that he would only recognize. And the people that they would get to do that type of shit is people like that bitch who said, you sin too, but on a smaller scale. Those are the types of people that they would get to do those types of things. Because what they do is, because they are celebrities, they don't think they have to accept people, weak-minded people like that. They don't think celebrities should be held accountable for the things that they do. They want your average person to always be held accountable. But they don't want celebrities to be held accountable for the things that they do. Those are dangerous people. She's the type of person that would come into your house under orders and spells and mind control to fuck with you for a celebrity or for a higher entity like the Illuminati or whatever secret society. She's the type of person that would do stuff like that. She's the type of person that would stalk you online and harass you for a celebrity. That's the type of person that she is. And this is why a lot of people have a problem with Beyonce's Beehive people, because they do similar shit. This is why people have a problem, not necessarily with Beyonce. It's nothing against Beyonce, but the people that follow her, they take things to another level. If a bitch or nigga come in my motherfucking house and I catch you in my house, you ain't leaving. And people can take that how they want, especially if you mean me some type of harm. You know what I'm saying? You coming up in people's homes, harassing them, stalking them. But this is what this culture has created. Brother love. That's what P. Diddy was calling himself a couple of years ago. What happened to that? What happened to brother love? What happened to that? There's nothing loving about him. When he walked up on that man, when he was dressed up, when P. Diddy was dressed up as the Joker on Halloween, when he walked up on some man, when he walked up on some man, I think it was an actor from Power, telling that man to change his vibration, telling that man, "Oh, you don't know me like that," and this and that and that and this and all this old whoop de woo shit. I looked at him then. I said, you know what? That man has a serious problem. But I have met that type of energy in a lot of black men in my life. They will tell you that it's love, but in actuality, there's nothing loving about them. Those types of men. I'm not talking about all black men. I'm talking about men like Puff Daddy. He thinks love is violating people. He thinks love is yelling and screaming in people's face and harassing people and exploiting people. He thinks that that's love. He thinks that spirituality and changing your vibration is coming to a party. Probably like the party that that young man who I mentioned earlier went to that party to become a high influencing YouTuber. The young man I mentioned earlier, it was probably a party like that. And who knows, he was probably at one of those parties or at that particular party. Because that young man said there were a lot of famous faces there that he can't name. Because if he names them, it'll put his life in danger. P. Diddy is not innocent. I don't care what none of you niggas say. He ain't innocent. He's not innocent. You can get mad. I don't care what Luke say. I don't care what none of y'all say. He's not innocent and he is not my brother. So you can stow that bastard shit. Talking about, well, he's black, he's your brother. No, he's not. Fuck that motherfucking nigga. He ain't never did shit for me. And he ain't gonna do shit for you. And those are just facts. And to all you motherfuckers that are defending him, talking about, well, you sin too, to all of you, what is your sin? You so invested in what his sin is, what's yours? Anyway, that's my take on it. He ain't innocent. Lock him up. Lock him up. When I heard the news, I started playing music and started dancing. And see, those are them spirits and the dead that he has violated when they were here on earth. And I'm going to tell you something else before I go. I said, I predicted this back in the early 2000s when black men in the industry thought they were hot shit. They were rejecting the black community. They were rejecting black women, thinking that they were so much better. And now here we are 23, 24 years later. And look at what's happening to all of them that rejected black women. Cuba Gooding Jr., and who mistreated black women. Puff Daddy. Look at what's happening to them. I predicted that one of these days, it wouldn't matter how good they could sing, it wouldn't matter how good they could act, it wouldn't matter how good they could play bounce a basketball or run with a football. That life and the pendulum of fate was going to swing back around on that motherfucking ass, and that's exactly what it has done. Because don't nothing last forever, good or bad. But it seems like bad lasts forever. It does. So no sympathy for P. Diddy. Same thing with Black Lives Matter. Everybody was so, y'all was so enthralled with them. Then come to find out they were stealing the money. And white people told you they were stealing the money. And I'm not giving no credit to them for being white, or not trying to give white people no credit, but I'm just saying they were telling black people they're not doing what they said they were going to do. They were stealing the money. But you still have black people that are supporting them, even when they were wrong. But people like me, we're wrong for talking about that, right? We're wrong for saying anything about that, right? I don't give a fuck. I'm going to say what I want to, just like y'all do. And there's some other things that I can say, but I can't. Because I know, I know what's going on, really, too, with him, too, on another level. Everything is not what you think. His lawyers are saying that Homeland Security raiding his homes was excessive. I don't think it was excessive. I don't think it was excessive. They did it to Donald Trump. They did it to Donald Trump, and he was an ex-president. I don't think it was excessive. They are building a case against him. They did it. They got in Harvey Weinstein's ass. They got in Jeff Epstein's ass. All of the, and he was connected to all of them. And you niggas sitting around trying to defend this motherfucker, that's because y'all involved in it too. And the lower level people, your average people, the only reason y'all defending him is because that forces you to look at some of your own fucking personal demons and your own abominations. He's not a sinner, he's an abomination. He's worse. A sin is something you inflict on self. He's an abomination. He's inflicting pain and horror on entire generations. So no sympathy for Puff Daddy. No sympathy for Harvey Weinstein. No sympathy for Jeff Epstein. No sympathy for none of them. None of them. But he has been getting away with this shit for a long time. And now the universe said, no more. No more. Anyway, that's all I have to say about it. I'm not talking about it anymore. There are other people that are being brought into these allegations. Let me repeat that. Prince Harry. There's even a picture of Prince William with Puff Daddy as well. They tried to crop him out of the picture, but he's in the picture too. But they are saying that Harry is also being brought up on charges too. And that is why I wasn't feeling him and the whole sympathy that black people were giving him and Meghan Markle. I wasn't feeling that. And now Spirit has revealed why. See, my spirit don't never lead me wrong. Spirit is revealing why. That's your God of the Bible right there. That's your God. That's his frequency. That's what he does. That's what y'all worship. Anyway, that's all I have to say. Like it, you can love it, you can do whatever you want, but if you take it fucking personal, then I'm talking to you. And I'm not talking to the people that really rock with me. I'm talking to the ones that listen and got an issue with what I'm saying because Puff Daddy is black. And you can never say anything about a black person who does something wrong because they always want to compare. Well, that white man did it, and this white man did it, and they did it, and they did. It doesn't matter. Evil, not evil. I'm sorry. I don't want to say evil. He's not a good person. He ain't a good person. Okay? He's beyond evil, in my opinion. And I'm going to say this evil does not have a skin color. Evil does not have a skin color. Evil doings don't have a skin color. Cuba Gooding Jr., he's caught up in some shit too now again. Anyway, that's all I have to say. Thank you.